It's James from Net News Ledger. On the phone from Ottawa is Canada's Minister of Natural Resources, Greg Rickford. Minister Rickford, thanks for taking the time to talk to us about budget.
My pleasure.
So what is the good news in the budget for the people in northwestern Ontario?
Well, it's a good news budget for Canadians. It's balanced. In fact, there's a surplus there. In stark contrast to the Liberal government, previous Liberal government's efforts to balance the budgets on the backside of Canadian taxpayers and cutting health and education transfer payments, something I can relate to personally, having been a nurse back in the day and been a victim of those dramatic cuts. We took a steady, disciplined path there, and after investing the past 5 or 6 years through one of the deepest recessions on record, obviously Canada comes out with a balanced budget and a small surplus. But I think what's the real victory for all Canadians, that includes northwestern Ontarians, is a budget that symbolizes a shift to the interests of individual Canadians, seniors, families, small businesses, less of a tax burden, one of the lowest tax rates in several decades, obviously with some specific benefits for the groups that I just indicated that are unprecedented. This is, I think, an opportunity for families to make decisions about child care, put more money in their pockets, and make decisions about how they want to spend the money, rather than the reckless proposals by the oppositions, which is to increase taxes, of course, and engage in reckless spending. We think that small businesses deserve even more of a tax break. They're the real job creators, and we've reduced that tax rate, or will be reducing it to 9% from 11%. Families, obviously, a dramatic increase in their universal child care benefits, a very popular benefit program for kids under 6, getting $60 more, and obviously for the first time kids from 6 to 17 will receive benefits. Income splitting has been very popular, and of course an increased threshold for child care expenses. Seniors, I think, James, were probably one of the biggest benefactors in this. The key part for them was lowering the minimum withdrawal limits for their registered retirement income funds. This obviously, as you turn 71 years old, is a requirement as you convert your RSPs to registered retirement investment fund that you have to draw off. And obviously, seniors who know about this issue have been loud and clear that those limits should be reduced. And then finally, something particular to Northern Ontario, at least what I heard, was a tax credit for home improvements. Eligible modifications would be focused on improving access in and around their homes. For a lot of seniors in small towns, small cities across the region, obviously their concern and perception is that they have to move to bigger cities for some of those services, and this tax break, I think, will help incentivize them staying at home and staying in their communities. Obviously, James, there are a number of key items with respect to northwestern Ontario and the resource sector, but I'll let you lead that line of questioning.
Well, I'm at the NADF Forestry Expo in Thunder Bay at the Valhalla Inn today, and people are excited about forestry making a comeback. People at NADF were saying the reason for this expo was the number of loans being made to small businesses that were wanting to get going in forestry in the Aboriginal communities. Is there anything special for forestry in the budget?
It's a big day for forestry. We're placing a particular emphasis on innovation and marketing. We've had 2 great programs run out of NRCan, Natural Resources Canada. Obviously, the Forestry Innovation Program has been renewed, and in fact, additional resources added to it. This has been really successful. It's been more and more successful across the country and starting to show some access and uptake in Northern Ontario as smaller mills want to diversify their product offering and make their product production more efficient. And the expanded marketing opportunities program has obviously been terrific. It's successful for us. We've seen increases in forestry product demand from countries like China in the 1,000% range. So my recent trips to the Pacific Basin and to Europe confirm that forest products from from Canada matter. We've signed more than 38 free trade agreements, and forest sector in Ontario, and in particular Northwestern Ontario, is well positioned, I think, to benefit from these programs. And of course, mining, James, big day for us on some specific things, particularly Ring of Fire.
What is going to get the miners fired up?
So miners in general, particularly the exploration side, who I'm very close to with my relationship to Prospectors Developers Association of Canada, we've extended the mineral exploration tax credit. James, we've expanded the Canadian expense definition for mining exploration. This is critical. It will be effective immediately, a 100% write-off of any and all costs associated or incurred by exploration companies for community consultations and any environmental assessment processes they participate in getting their exploration permits. Community consultation, environmental assessment processes are a critical part, and obviously growing in profile and obligation in the case of First Nations. So we're very pleased to see companies who incur this expense incentivized to do it right, and they'll be able to write it off. Of course, the big announcement that's uniquely from NRCan, and it sounds to me like they've got a minister from Northern Ontario, is the chromite and rare earth elements production in Canada. This is a fund that will be introducing $23 million, effective immediately over 5 years, for Natural Resources to stimulate the technological innovation needed to separate and develop rare earth elements, and in particular, James, chromite. There are two, as you well know, of the biggest barriers to developing chromite in Ring of Fire are the remoteness of the proposed extraction site, and frankly, the costs associated with separating chrome and other platinum group metals from iron ore deposits. So we believe that CanMet, NRCan's technology branch, and other technology associations in the private sector are going to solve this. It's going to be a greener and more efficient way to extract chromite, and that this is a foundational piece that, well, our critics have said, well, what is this? How can you link it to the Ring of Fire? It's focused squarely on chromite and rare earth elements, which is what characterizes the Ring of Fire region. I know folks that have been critical don't understand that regional access and technology to make it more efficient and environmentally friendly to separate chromite and rare earth elements from iron ore may be uninteresting, but it matters to miners, it matters to extraction activities and their bottom line. So we're moving forward on that.
Minister Rickford, I would like to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. And
anytime.
Keep it up. Keep going.
Big fan of Net News Ledger. Thank you for your call.
Take care.